Born Ready, the Terry Eckersley story. I was born at an early age, it's a joke, at a place called Lee, just outside Greater Manchester, a place full of woods, trees and slag heaps where we used to play. My mother was a real character. She worked on a bread van and sold fruit and veg in the market, and she brought up 5 kids. My father was a miner, a very gentleman, and a Catholic. He loved Jim Reeves songs and used to sing them to me. On a hill far away stood an old rugged cross, the emblem of suffering and shame, and I loved that old cross where the dearest and best for a world of lost sinners was slain. So I'll cherish the old rugged cross till my trophies at last I lay down. I will cling to the old rugged cross and exchange it some day for a crown. That's what my dad used to sing to me. I went to a Catholic school and a Catholic church and became an altar boy, but always imagined God as an angry old man who would beat me if I did wrong. I had many friends and we had great fun as kids, but things changed when Dad suddenly died. I was 13 and he was 66. I looked forward to spending more time with him when he retired, but it wasn't to be. After that I just didn't care anymore. I was angry, my family used to beat me, and the school used to cane me, but I reckon it was my fault. In my anger I pushed everyone as far as I could. I started playing truant, stealing from my family and others, and you can guess the rest. I got into trouble a lot and ended up in an assessment centre full of unruly boys from the north of England. I got into drugs, anything that would give me a warm love feeling. And guess what? Yes, it wasn't long before I ended up in a detention centre again. This was to be my route to prison, on and off for a few years. I left school at 16 and worked as a window cleaner, but I really got into the punk scene and went on the dole. I loved bands like The Damned, The Ramones, Iggy Pop. I had left home and was sleeping wherever. Once me and my mates had a really scary experience. We were taking all sorts of drugs and one mate started reading out an occult book, and I saw into the spiritual realm for the first time. It was like the book of Revelation in the Bible. Then I saw 3 impure spirits that looked like frogs. They came out of the mouth of the dragon, out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. We all freaked out, screaming and terrified. We went to a local preacher for help. He used to hang around outside the punk clubs telling anyone who would listen that Jesus loved them. We called him Stan the preacher man. But this night he really helped us. He told us we were messing around with the devil and only surrendering our lives to Jesus could help us. So he did. Needless to say, I hadn't learned my lessons yet, but my mate went straight, got a job and settled down. I ended up in prison again, and again forging prescription, stealing, deception. At 28, I ended up in the middle of gang warfare, and had my life gone a different way, I would have ended up shooting someone, or being shot dead myself, or being locked up for life imprisonment. By now I was 28 and wanted to stop my out-of-control lifestyle. With a friend, David Shovelton, I started to take the Bible seriously and read and studied with him. I recommitted my life to Jesus. Remember, I had made a confession of faith at 21, and this time really things started to change for me. As I read the Bible, I started to cry and cry. And now these 3 things remain: faith, hope and love, but the greatest of these is love. However, I still had charges hanging over me for drugs. I needed to get into a rehab. I was seen as a dangerous prisoner and I was sentenced to 21 months. However, I kept reading my Bible, getting fit in the gym, ended up taking part in Prisoners Week. I walked around the country, staying in churches. A great experience. One night I was talking to a friend and the whole room lit up with the glory of God. I cried. I hadn't cried since I was a child, and all the anger, pain, loneliness came out. I realized Jesus had died for my sins, and I truly believed it. I was saved. I started to work at the YMCA. This was to play a big part in my future life in more ways than one. It was the Young Men's Christian Association. First I started using the gym, then I got a security officer's job there. I studied hard and earned a postgraduate certificate in management studies and Bible college. Me, who had left school with no qualifications. Before long I was in charge of many staff and building projects. I had made conscious decisions not to worry but to trust God in all things, and He has never let me down. I also got involved in the music business, almost by accident. Some tracks I had written were used in a television program, and I was asked to write more. Monkey Business became ITV's second best-selling TV show. I had many good friends, and was in the company of many strong Christians. Claire was my spiritual mum, and I became part of her family. Later, I was adopted by the Webb family, and became an even closer member of the family when I married their daughter Jill, an angelic worship leader whom all the blokes fancied. Our first date was a garden party at Buckingham Palace. I had been invited as part of my charity work and asked if she could come as my partner. We had known each other 20 years, but had got much closer. I was asked to undertake a brand new job starting a YMCA project in Surrey with no money and no team. I continued to rely on God. He provided all I needed, and I just tried to stay in step with Him. I have so many people to be thankful for in my life. Stan the preacher man, other preachers and pastors who have helped me, people in the music industry who I've worked with, Claire and Janet, who are both wonderful women of God, J. John, Dr. Rodney Howard-Brown, other evangelists. I'd been single for many years, overcoming depression and dealing with personal issues. So when Jill and I got married, things changed for me again. Through our friend, we were invited to help the Gypsy Church in Bulgaria. We went along giving out presents supplied by supporters to children in orphanages there. I've preached and Jill sang on many occasions. It is awe-inspiring to be part of what God is doing. Someone asked me, how have I managed to do all that I do? Trust in God, follow Him, and He will give you the desires of your heart. I have come a long way, and even now I am starting new things. I've left the YMCA about 5 years ago, after 20 years, several projects and being in charge of many staff. Now we help train, equip and minister to Christians, both here and abroad, in churches, ministries, TV, radio, in the UK, Europe, USA, Asia, Africa, and indeed all around the world. Thanks for watching this. If you'd like to get in touch with us, just click the link below, terryeckersley.org.uk.